that we have implemented for a trial for 6-week period in St Austell, progressing in the future.
I actually wasn't clear of the detail of it until I've just literally come here today, so I'm well excited about it. This is exactly what we need across in Devon as well. The people I've brought with me from Torbay, and we've got a hostel in Torquay, and it's not working to its best of its ability at the moment, and we want to come and see some good practice. And this is the sort of thing that I really like because it's really visible. So the community who get frustrated by seeing people vulnerable on the street thinking, who's helping them? Yeah. Why is nobody doing anything? Because that's what I get from people. Why is nobody doing anything? Well, you can be really visible, being seen to be doing something with those individuals. And I think it gives a feel-good factor that we actually are reaching out to people on the streets, because the drug treatment doesn't have outreach anymore in a lot of my places across the patch. A lot of the housing don't do a lot of outreach across my patch. So I think it's fantastic. So I'm going to take this away as a model and see how we can progress that across the whole of Devon and Cornwall when I leave here today. I love it. So thank you for putting your time and energy into it.
All right. With the public calling for more police officers on the streets, do you think taking a multi-agency approach helps to offer this presence and delivers good value for money?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know, you probably speak with the local officers when you're out and about, do you? Or do you ever come across them?
I've seen them around, but they kind of do a different...
They're doing some
different route. Yeah.
So I mean, ultimately, really, the point of the police is to keep the peace, isn't it? And it's to use the power of arrest to remove someone's liberty should they have committed a crime or done something that's wrong. Well, most people who need help on the street don't need that type of approach. So I think they might need a stick at some point. So I think the multi-agency thing is a really good way of, giving them the opportunity to do other things first, and then if it fails, then you've got the stick approach, if you like, with the police. But it shouldn't be led by the police. It shouldn't be the first port of call that the police do something to do with law. And a lot of the public who are frustrated ring up the police expecting the police to deal with. And that's not right. So multi-agency is the way to go, because you can actually minimise the need for level of enforcement, and you can minimise the need to criminalise people that shouldn't be criminalised.
Definitely.
By Harbour using experts for experience to co-design and co-deliver the project. Do you think this is a good use of the tools we have to support your vision for tackling hotspots?
Yeah, well, I'm so impressed, because a lot of the hotspot policing has been spent on police overtime, or it's been spent on street marshals doing council-related enforcement. So it's been very enforcement focused. So I think, the really good practice that I see here is people like yourselves being able to have a conversation, not somebody who's in authority, not somebody who can do something bad to them, but somebody who can speak to them and understand. And I think that's the actual critical bit, which is why I'm really thankful that you're willing to flip and do it. It's just brilliant. You must feel good about it. You must love it when you go out and speak to someone and they actually do engage with you and say, maybe today is the day I want to come and get a bit of help.
At times that's been really helpful, It's there can be a difference though when you're living here and then although it's not, you're not an authority, it kind of, so it's navigating that first of all, and then when you've built a level of trust with in the community of the Harbour community, then it's gonna really blossom. So it's only been a couple of weeks.
What have they done here to help you? What was the bits that were really critical that helped you?
I've got clean here.
Well done.
I'm 18 months clean next week.
Congratulations.
Yeah. They've linked me to outside resources like we have with you, medical appointments, being able to maintain them regularly. I've been able to attend college.
Wow.
I've done British Sign Language.
I've
achieved food hygiene. I've achieved health and safety, allergens training, because I've been working in the kitchens.
So what's been the biggest thing that's helping keep you clean? Being busy?
Keeping me safe, feeling safe. I think that's a massive part.
So you're not being preyed upon, really,
no,
out in the community.
Just being able to come home and having a roof over your head and feeling safe where you live is a massive thing for someone in recovery.
Oh wow, that's really interesting to hear. Because it's one of the most difficult things is sometimes if you're with lots of people who've got similar problems, it's harder for you to move forward. But actually, is it the structure that's here and the support?
The routine.
Yeah.
On-site counselling, the counselling team they have here, the wellbeing team, They're amazing.
Oh wow.
I use them for a whole year. I've just finished, and that's been a game changer for me to be able to let go of that trauma that I've been carrying for 40 years, and now focus on my recovery.
That's just brilliant. I'm so proud. That's fantastic. I know how hard it is because it's a daily chore to get through it, isn't
daily
it?
disciplines.
Yeah. Well done. And how about you? How have they helped you?
Well, for me, I've been in and out homelessness all my life, really, since I was 16.
Oh, bless you.
I lived here years ago. They gave me rehab. They got me into rehab, got clean. Didn't kind of fell off the path.
Yeah.
I was been homeless the last 18 months, and so just in a tent. So it's like they've given me this like opportunity to be able to like come back into normal life again.
Yeah.
And kind of head back into that route that I was going down upon before having a slip anyway.
Yeah.
And
But
it's just,
you come across as someone who really likes their freedom, though.
I love freedom.
I
really enjoyed.
I can just totally tell that. It's
So
like,
I really
don't
enjoyed.
constrain me
Yes.
with this life.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But also, it's you get older, and it's like, okay, this hedonistic way of life, and like this way of being, that it's served its purpose now. But like now, I actually want to be involved in my life, and like where is it going from this point? And like this is what this has been able to do. Like coming back here, they got some other properties and stuff, So I don't. It's nice that when they brought me back, I wasn't in the main house. I was able to move into, another like move on property.
Right. Yeah.
And kind of learn to live again in that space where it's, the support's less.
Yeah.
You haven't got staff on site all the time.
But it is
more
overwhelming. It
freedom.
is overwhelming to actually be a really positive contributor in life. It's overwhelming paying your bills, sorting things out, getting your food, cooking your dinner. Honestly, I find it overwhelming.
This is good practice here. Because I know for me, I'm not sure for yourself, but when I was in active addiction, all that stuff goes out the window when you're on the streets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have anything to think about. But
coming here, paying your rent each week, learning to do that stuff, managing your bank account or opening a bank account again, learning to manage your bills. And like I said, the other facilities and activities they have here have been a great help to sort of rebuild you again.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, well done. I think that's brilliant.
Thank you.
No, but it's just great. I think the biggest thing is knowing that there is somewhere that you can go to if you do want to change your life.
Yeah.
I mean, if you thought there was nowhere to go to, there would be no reason to change at all, is there? And once you find out that there are people who want to support you to be successful and not be unwell, and really help you live, I think it gives you the opportunity. Every day it's an opportunity, isn't it? That's the point. Every day, every new day is an opportunity. Yeah. But that's brilliant.
I get to do fun stuff as well, like surfing.
Oh, shut up! Do you go surfing?
They treat us to surfing activities, take us to the beach for barbecues, kayaking, paddleboarding.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the boys go on fishing trips, I think.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yeah, lots of activities. That you probably I
wouldn't
haven't
have
done
access
for years.
to. Yeah.
Haven't done for years.
And
drugs were my full-time job.
Well, it is, isn't it? That's the whole point, isn't it?
Addict behaviour.
Yeah. And the thing is, we don't want drug dealers down here because we don't want to make it easy for you to make that your life. So the reason why I'm really keen on making sure that we tackle drugs is because by enabling access to it, it makes it easier for you to choose to stay in it than to choose to get out of it. So that's why we're really keen to. We work as a 5 force across the southwest, all of the police forces and all of the police and crime commissioners, the elected politician like me across the top of them, to try and drive drugs out of the southwest because if we can try and drive it out of the southwest, we are a bit of an island, really. The whole of the southwest.
So Austell's got the highest rate, isn't it, in Cornwall? I think.
Well, we've got drugs in all our coastal towns, and it really worries me. Young people, they start on cannabis, they think it's fun, and those who are well can cope with a bit of fun cannabis, but it really does start entry points into further.
Being a Cornish lad, being a St Austell boy.
It's what you do, isn't it?
It's really early down here. Like there's not for young people. It's good, right? You can go out, go to like Spit Beach in a bunker, get a generator. That can be all nice, but it's like there's nothing other than going and getting out and getting on it. Yeah. And that's what I found when I first got into it when I was like 14. And if you've come from like dysfunction, and then you finally get that thing that makes you feel good again, or makes you feel like, oh, I feel alive, that can leapfrogs you catapults you into that kind of life, and like if there was more things available for me, like in community,
yeah,
at that earlier age,
Yeah.
you know, I believe I would have always went down that path,
yeah,
right? But
but it's how extreme you went down,
sometimes there could have been other people that have gone down that, and like you could have went like, okay, right, we're going to stop that. I know it was what it was meant to be for me, but other people that kind of come up from behind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Well, because even, I mean, I had to admit on camera, because I used to smoke cannabis when I was a student, and I used to really enjoy it, right? And but the cannabis today is so different to the cannabis of yesteryear that it's really strong. And you know, in America, where they've legalized it in certain states, it's basically the biggest social experiment that's ever been played out, because they won't do a proper drug trial on cannabis because it's too dangerous. You know, and any drug that comes to market, you have to do a longitudinal drug trial, you have to have a placebo, and you have, you know, all this controlled group, and you let people do that particular drug. They won't do it because cannabis is so dangerous. So that's why it's the biggest experiment by actually legalizing it in those American states, and we're seeing so many more people dying, particularly on the roads, because they're driving while high. We've got that in America. They've got, it's like their road deaths went like this and then it went like that. So, you know, people don't understand the wider impact of actually taking a drug and what it does to you. Absolutely. But it affects your genes and your genetics. You can have birth defects if you're a woman, and it's just horrible. Nobody understands the level of harm. And it all used to be a bit of fun. You know, it all starts out as it's a bit of fun, isn't it? It's just a bit of a laugh, isn't it? But so we're better taking the legal stuff, because the treatment services are better for the legal stuff.
I disagree with that, because I was put on mental health medication for 12 years, and that is what destroyed me.
Really?
And I think the doctors are so readily to prescribe diazepam, citalopram, and all the mental health meds, because they actually made me worse and want to use further drugs. Because that's why they call it mummy's little helpers, don't they? Valium and things like that. It's not until I came off them, as well as the drugs, that it was the game changer for me.
Wow.
So I struggled to come off the drugs, but the harder thing was the mental health meds that they throw at you, and they just keep upping the dose at you.
Well, they're not getting to the bottom of the problem either, are they?
No, and the counselling services are so difficult to get into. I was quite lucky that I managed to get in here, but people find it hard to get into counselling, so to get to the bottom of that trauma and get that dealt with, rather than just keep throwing. And COVID, obviously, they just upped the dosage.
Oh my gosh,
they just kept upping dosages.
And without even seeing a doctor, was it as well?
A doctor, so
if you don't mind me asking, are you still having to take any of that?
I don't take nothing anymore.
Oh, she's amazing, isn't she?
I don't take. My programme doesn't like it.
Bloody hell!
No, I take nothing.
And how do you feel in yourself?
I feel amazing. I get low days, but that's life on life's terms, isn't it?
Yeah, so, we all get that though.
Exactly.
Honestly, I have days where I can't get out of bed sometimes.
I feel great that I used to have a drawer when I got up in the morning, and I used to have to take all these meds, and I just don't have that now. It's vitamins and stuff in the menopause.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
It is an absolute game changer.
That's mad, isn't it? How do we change that?
I think doctors are just too prescribed them too freely, with, like you said, without looking into where that's come from, where that problem is you've got.
Because we call it professional curiosity of people trying to understand the underlying causes of it. But I suppose a doctor's there to treat your symptoms. And your symptoms are showing this, and I can give you something to try and change that. They're not fundamentally there to try and treat the underlying cause. And I think that's probably, you know, they had a really big thing about trying to make mental health services in parity with physical health. So that there was an equal level of status to it. We haven't got anywhere near that. It's still physical health is the thing that you can get treated for easily. But your mental health is still nowhere near as it should be parity. It should be treated at the same level so that it's recognised. But we haven't got anywhere near that yet. So it's up to individuals or their friends or their families to say you're not right. Something's not right, and for you to think about redoing it. But that's amazing. How did you realise that? Did they get you off that as soon as you came here, or?
No, I did it myself. I'm in a programme called NA.
Right.
And it was just about, you don't take things to change the way you feel.
Yeah.
And it was just like, when I moved here, I got a support worker who I see weekly. I had We Are With You. I had a counsellor, and it was like, do you know what? This is the time for me to kick everything.
Right.
So that was my motive for getting rid of all of it at the same time. But I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't had the support here around me, because when you have, because obviously there's a lot of lows before you start feeling better, but being able to be able to keep an eye on you and just make sure that you're safe. Really. While you're trying to detox off this stuff.
God, that's amazing. Because I hear so few success stories of the normal. So while this is funded part by Cornwall Council and everything, a lot of the normal arrangements for whether it's drug treatment or alcohol treatment, the funded stuff, not NA or AA, right? I see very few success stories. You know, I keep saying and probation services with offenders, I say, show me an offender who you've helped get off drugs then, you know, that you're still dealing with, who's on licence or whatever. They can't seem to show me people who have been successful. So there's something that's not quite right in the way that we deliver those services, I think, to people. And I know we've got a dependency model, like a harm reduction model, rather than an abstinence model. So it's all about, let's replace it with something else. You know, let's keep
That's my little...
Is that you a bit
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It winds me up.
It's really wound me up because it's just forced people into that same way of life. Like,
yeah.
Because there are people, like Helen, for example, I've been part of that abstinence-based program. It's not just getting off the stuff that made your life a problem.
No.
Like, oh, I've been overdosing, I've been this, I've been doing that. Okay, that's good, and your life can improve as a result of lessening that. But there's so much more to life. There's a beauty, there's like a flavour, there's a deliciousness of life that you don't get from being in active addiction that you can only experience through abstinence, because you're still going to be the same behaviours. The same behaviours are going to be used in all the other things. It's like, oh, my eating, my I'll just smoke a bit of weed, or have like I've been injecting heroin for years. I'll just have I'll just smoke a bit of cannabis. Yeah. It's like you're still kind of living in that same world. You've got the same associations, whereas that like abstinence thing is like, right, you got to break. Play mates, play places, and play things. Get rid of it all. Restart everything. And okay, it's overwhelming at the start, but once you rebuild, you start to see. It's like if you're around negative people, you're going to be negative. If you're around positive people, and also if you're around other people at different levels of, someone with a few years, or someone with 6 months, 30 days, 2 weeks, you've just came into this new way of life. It's like, oh, there's so many people at different levels, and we come together, and it's like, okay, this can be done.
Yeah, it's achievable, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. I'm really worried about the harm reduction model, which just keeps you dependent on something else, whether it's a methadone or they give you needles so you can at least do it cleanly, or all that stuff.
I don't mind, because people, doesn't matter, people are going to inject. Yeah. But it's why people giving crack pipes? Why you can't get anything off a crack pipe.
Yeah.
But now sorry, I have a really big gripe with them.
Yeah.
We are with you. Give them out.
Crack
we're allowed
pipes,
to say names of things.
No, I don't know if about agencies, but the horrible. I was an ex-IV user.
Have you messed your veins up, or are you still?
No, I'm a healthy young man, and thank God. I started really early though. I was 19. So half of one, half the.
Because it's a bit when you've gone too far, you sort of think, what's the point of changing?
But then when you're young, it all repairs. So you're lucky in that.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. But when I relapsed, I went and started using needles again. The quality of needles have gone down. So you're getting air bubbles, big blunt.
Oh, wow.
You're either getting them in the blunt already. So it's like we're trying to move. What? Yeah. It was really, really strange. Going back to it, after it's not.
So how long have you been able to? How long have you been able to keep yourself clean? Is that a day by day? Is it a day by day thing?
Last time I used IV was in. Well, I had someone pass away, so that was in July last year.
Oh wow, that's a long time though.
Yeah.
That's really good, isn't it?
It's all right.
But it's knowing not to, because we all get sad, we all get upset, and it's knowing what else you could do when you're like that, isn't it?
No,
average person would just get pissed.
Yeah.
But we would all just the legal use. We just all get pissed or something.
So I don't need an excuse to use drugs.
No.
I
like to find
a justification for it though. My girlfriend split up with me. I can use now. Yeah. It's like
Or the sun's shining.
I want to use whatever.
I'm
an addict. I'm going to use whatever. It doesn't matter what the situation in my life is.
Yeah.
I can be happy, I want to use. It doesn't matter if someone's dying.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's amazing. But well done.
That's
Well
it,
done.
thank
It's
you.
brilliant. Really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't
Yeah.
wait to go.